What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Episode number 93, presented by the 7 Line. Just wrapped up a series against the St. Louis Cardinals in which the Mets won 3 of 4. 3 of 4, something we haven't done a whole lot this year. We've been winning a lot of series, but we really haven't been able to get those 3 wins. So
Actually, I know I'm jumping in very early again, but we've had, maybe 3-4 game series this year, and this is the second time we've gone 3 or 4.
I guess that is a good point. We just don't sweep.
Yeah.
We don't sweep, and again, we didn't sweep this one, but 3 of 4 against the Cardinals, who we've stressed all year long. These are big series, even though we're not in the division. This is one of our playoff contenders right here, one of our competitors for one of those final spots. Huge series win for the Mets. A lot to talk about. Before we do, of course, make sure you guys are following us on all our social media at Mets'd, on the YouTube channel Mets'd Podcast if you want to watch a video version. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, drop us a rating, drop us a review. Make sure you're following, make sure you're downloading the episodes. Click that auto download, whatever it is, so you guys don't miss out whenever they do come out. And let's go ahead and bring in James here. How you doing, James?
I'm doing good. Episode in person.
The boys are back. You got a little bit of a loud apartment. You guys, if you haven't been watching the YouTube videos, probably wouldn't get the jokes as much, but wherever you're living, which is an undisclosed location.
In East Williamsburg. It is so loud. It is so unbelievably loud. I only moved like a block away when I moved apartments about 3 weeks ago, but I didn't realize that moving from the middle of a side street into a room on a major Brooklyn street with my room facing the street, it gets really loud.
Yeah.
I can audibly hear songs in cars. The guys on the dirt bikes go like 100 miles an hour. I hear the whoosh past me, right past me. It's almost unbelievable. Like there's the show I do for Pitcher List, the First Pitch podcast. I usually record at like 1 a.m., so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
When we try to record this in the middle of the day, it's almost hilariously bad.
Yeah, no, we're recording at 7:30 right now. There's a 0% chance we could get through a clean episode.
No chance.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is what we got to start off with. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. We know that Max Scherzer left the game early in Game 3. We didn't know what was going on. We got some insight today. It is an oblique injury, and he is out for 6 to 8 weeks, which just coming into the game. I mean, it actually happened during the game.
Happened like the 5th inning, so it was when I was biking over.
Happened during the game, and I mean, talk about a kick in the nuts. Talk about an absolute kick in the nuts. Because yesterday, everyone was speculating, trying to figure out what it was. We had lip reading going on. We had everything. We thought it was a blister. He has blisters, apparently.
True.
That is a thing. We thought maybe it was his back. Maybe it was a hamstring. He said he was tight. Ends up being the oblique. It's a significant strain, or a mild to significant, I think is what they're calling it.
I think it said high, significant to high or something.
Yeah, whatever the semantics are of this injury.
Did they usually, report those by grade, like a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3? They didn't say it because it probably means a bad grade. So.
Yeah, probably not a good grade. And it's just, it sucks because we haven't had Jacob deGrom all year, and we're missing him. Imagine how good we'd be with Jacob deGrom, my goodness. And Max Scherzer has kind of made it okay because he stepped right into that same role and been our ace, been dominant, been one of the best pitchers in baseball. And even last night, when we are recording this, he was so good that night too. And it really stinks that we now are without 2 of our major pitchers, along with Tyler McGill being on the IL. The Mets are all of a sudden desperately in need of pitching. It's not great.
It also really sucks because in all the interviews going on Max Scherzer last night after the game, it said it was something that was bothering him all day. And you almost kind of wish that they wouldn't have pushed it when he had something bothering him, especially just knowing how tenuous this rotation depth really is right now. That part of it kind of disrupted me a little bit, made me upset, or disturbing, as Gary Cohen called it.
Yeah. I don't know if I could go as far as disturbing.
Not disturbing.
Even when he said it, I was like, I think it's upsetting or disappointing. I was like, disturbing that's a word.
That's a real word, yeah.
That carries a lot of weight.
But it does stink. It stinks. The team is not going to let it get to them. At least it seems like right away. Game 4 was a massive come from behind team win, but you could just feel it. I feel like amongst fans, amongst the language, people on Twitter, it seems this is not a good thing. He's one of the best players in all of baseball, one of the fiercest competitors, the most talented pitcher that was healthy on this team, and losing him is going to be a big deal as we head to a bit of a tough part of our schedule as is.
It feels like every 5 minutes or so during watching the game, I was like, God damn it. I was like, damn it. Everything was going too well. Max Scherzer was looking too good. And this stupid little injury had to pop up. I fucking hate obliques. I hate obliques. Where is the oblique?
Here, side.
Side, yeah. Oh, God.
Side.
How do you even stretch that out?
And it was his left side, I believe.
Okay, interesting. How do you even, stretch the oblique? Some
over the top?
Yeah, I guess some side-to-side motion, wave your hands back and forth.
The Russian twist. That's how you work out the oblique.
It's so frustrating, though, that's the news that came in. And really what was a series that we should be really happy about. And I am.
Joyous, yeah.
I'm definitely happy, but it does put a little bit of a dampener on it because, let's be honest. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. We need to find pitching. We have to.
We definitely need to find pitching. And we'll either do a segment depending on time at the end of this episode or the end of the next one about finding pitching. But it's clear the Mets need some. They already signed Trevor Cahill to a minor league deal. Cahill is a guy who he bounces around. He pitches, not very well all the time, but he does pitch on occasion. There are some guys in the system that might be able to give a shot to a Jose Budo, a Mike Montgomery, Thomas Apucky. You might see him again. You're going to see David Peterson again, probably in the Colorado series. There's a lot of options internally. They're not great options, but there are ways to get through this. You just need for him or DeGrom to come back within those 6 to 8 weeks before this could get out of hand.
Yeah, no, this is big, and we're playing a lot of good teams coming up.
A lot of good teams.
But enough about the Max Scherzer pity party, because, I mean, we did have a series in which we took 3 or 4 from the Cardinals, who are a playoff team.
Good team.
And as good as Max Scherzer is, he didn't pitch in every single game this series,
No.
and we were still able to get wins.
He actually only pitched in one of them.
Yeah, only one game from Max Scherzer this series. Kind of crazy. Let's start off with Game 4, though, because that was the one that just happened, and it was probably one of the more exciting games of the entire series. The entire series was a pretty great series of baseball.
It's one of the most exciting games of the entire season. It was back and forth, lead changes, runs on both sides, interesting managerial decisions, interesting strategic motives. There were just a lot of moving parts in this game. It turned out to be a really good, another really long baseball game.
Yeah, what a team win, though. What a team win. I mean, start to finish, everybody seemed to do something well this game. And that was also something that they did the night before, too, where I think, almost every single person in the lineup had an RBI. In Game 3, I think 7 of the 9 players.
Yeah, seven players.
7 of the 9 players. So the Mets are playing a lot better baseball. And again, Game 4, it started off hot. Brandon Nimmo doing Brandon Nimmo things, getting on base. Francisco Lindor, who all the absolute. I don't want to call you guys idiots because we like you guys listening to us, but please, enough. I know Lindor isn't playing at an MVP level, and when you're paying a guy $30 million, that's what you expect. I get it. I can see the thought process behind it. But you have to know that this isn't 1960 baseball. This is 1970 baseball. Just because Francisco Lindor isn't hitting, 284 like the guy tweeted you today?
Yeah, 284. Some guy today. I had a tweet that it didn't go viral, but it got like almost 2,000 likes about me saying, seemed like some Mets fans root against Francisco Lindor, like they want him to be bad so they can capitalize on a take that they hopefully have gotten correct. He tweeted at me in all caps 2 days almost later. I want him to be hitting 284. So I don't know how you settled on that number. So if you're listening to this, guy who responded to me, how'd you find the 284? Where'd that number come from? Please let me know.
I get it. I used to be a batting average guy. But as you learn, as you start to watch more and more baseball, you realize that, hits are nice, but it's extra base hits. Singles really aren't any different than walking.
And that on-base percentage is big. And Francisco Lindor is one of the best on-base guys in the team. Now we're just going to a Francisco Lindor diatribe. But listening on the radio today, Howie and Wayne will always do a pregame thing with Buck Showalter where they'll bounce questions off each other, and they say that they like doing that with Buck. He's a pretty fun guy. And they said that Buck came prepared to that little meeting today with some media people with tons of stats that Francisco Lindor was really good at so far in his team this year. Going into this game today, it's still true after it. McNeil might have gotten ahead of him, but Lindor was second on the team in both RBIs and home runs. Yeah. One of the highest on-base percentages on the whole team. Second in stolen bases on the team. Still playing great defense at shortstop. The guy's really good.
That's not for a bad team either. We are one of the 5 best teams in baseball right now.
He had 6 home runs and 22 RBIs heading into the day at the quarter point of the season. So that's on pace for 24 home runs and 88 RBIs.
Which would be great for Francisco Lindor.
That's
that would
a
be
good
a really
season
good year
for anybody.
But people want to see him hit 284, though.
Of course, you got to hit 284. You're making $34 million. Also, Mark and I looked back at this today because Mark's roommate, Alex, asked us if Francisco Lindor is playing to the worth of his contract. And we both said no, because it will seem like on the surface he's not really playing as a $34 million type player. But we look back on Fangraphs that has a dollars per WAR calculation for every player in the league and what their value is actually worth. And Francisco Lindor in 2021, and statistically by far the worst season of his whole career, was worth $33.9 million based on Fangraphs dollars per WAR calculation.
120 games.
120 games, yeah. Well, 125, 128.
Yeah, not even full season.
No.
And he was basically worth what we pay him. Now, again, I'm sure the people that are against him are going to hate him.
And also, what we just said is not going to change anybody's mind, the people who hate them.
No, by no means. It's the thing. People would rather be right than admit that they're wrong. And I just don't understand the Mets fans that want to root against Francisco Lindor. He is here for the next 10 years. Why do you want to be miserable? We have so many things to be excited about. This is nonsense. This is childish shit.
He's also, people are, he's awful. He's hurting the team. That's just not true.
Yeah, that is patently incorrect.
It's patently incorrect. He's better hitter than league average and significantly better fielder than league average. He is very valuable to a baseball team. It might not look the way you thought it was going to look. He's not Fernando Tatis.
Yep.
He's not Trey Turner. He probably at this point isn't even Carlos Correa, because Carlos Correa is just hitting tanks. Not this year, actually. Carlos Correa is not really hitting that well.
This year.
But he's not, maybe he was billed to us as such, as this elite hitting shortstop who's going to be in an MVP conversation. But you could still be worth $30 million to your team without that being true.
Yeah. And Lindor does, as I said, first inning, him, Nimmo getting on, and then Alonso knock. It's a really nice way to start this game.
Yeah, another cool thing I liked when this game began was that when Brandon Nimmo got that single and Mark Canha was up, Buck Showalter put him in motion. I think what was the 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, how did I forget? How did I forget Marky Cheerios?
Yeah, well, it was a ground ball. It wasn't a hit.
Well,
yeah, but Dakota Hudson is a ground ball merchant. He's a guy who has one of the highest ground ball rates in the league. He's the only thing that even keeps him in this league because his stuff isn't that good, and he takes 38 seconds, literally, between every single pitch. But
so long.
Knowing the ground ball tendencies with Canha at the plate, Buck sent Nimmo in motion, hit a ground ball to Arenado, would have been a double play, or at least could have gotten the force at second, then moved it over the first. So we got a man scoring position, and of course, it all ended up being the same because Francisco Lindor drew a walk to the next batter. But if we had a double play there in the second batter of the game, we would have erased this whole inning. We wouldn't have had the chances to score the runs like we did.
Yeah.
So it was cool. That was good managing by Buck Showalter, getting this team to be aggressive early.
They also got that sweet double steal, which was nice, getting aggressive with Andrew Kisner behind the plate. A lot of talk about Yachty not being a, or you don't run on Yachty. As soon as Kisner got in the game, they seemed like we're running, and then Kisner ended up leaving the game a little bit later. But yeah, it was a good way to start off the game. Felt good. Mets got runs again.
2 runs in the first
inning, which just seems to be a theme with this team.
This made 8 out of 9 games where they've gotten a run in the first inning.
Yeah, no, it's great. It was a great start. Unfortunately, though, when we come out for the next inning, big ol' home run from your boy, Juan Yepez off Chris Bassitt. I mean, absolute hanger, and he crushed it. Juan Yepez is a really good hitter. I know he didn't have a great series by any means, but in game 4, what did he go, 3 for 4? I mean, he was
something
pretty
like
sick.
that. Yeah, he just takes good at bats. He seems like a very good ball player. He does a lot of things well, and you kind of just stick that guy, just put his locker right in between Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado.
And next to Albert Pujols as well.
Yeah, just let them talk to each other. There's no doubt he's going to become a good player. And he has all the tools, it seems like. He could do it.
Paul Goldschmidt continued to terrorize us this series. That dude is an absolute stud. He just continues to be one of the more underappreciated players, I think, in all of baseball, just because he's just like kind of like a boring white guy. I don't know. There's no other way to say it.
He played in Arizona and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Howie Rose gave him a Hall of Fame shout out in the radio broadcast.
Dude, I've been saying it for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's very much on track to be a Hall of Famer if he continues to play well as his career gets older.
If Votto gets in, he'll get in.
For sure. They got, I don't even remember who hit a double, whatever it was.
Well, there was a situation in, I believe it was the top of the 5th inning. It started out with a Tommy Edman leadoff double, and then he's leading off the innings, also leadoff hitter in this lineup. And for some reason, we talk about batting orders a lot and the way a team will structure a batting order. The Cardinals have Brandon Donovan, newly minted major leaguer Brandon Donovan, a guy who's an even older minor leaguer. He's like 27 years old, right?
He's playing well, too. He's hitting really well.
Good ball player for sure. It seems like he's the kind of guy who will stick on a major league roster and help out, but he's hitting second. And with a man on second, nobody out, in the 5th inning of a tie game, Oli Marmol decided to put the bunt sign on for Brandon Donovan, someone who Codify said in over 1,000 minor league plate appearance had never bunted.
It's crazy.
And for some reason, and again, the 5th inning of a tie game.
As an away team, too.
Yeah, with the 5th inning of a tie game, with the meat of your order behind you, the meat of your order being Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and Juan Yepez. For some reason, you're trying to sacrifice an out there. And Donovan quickly went down 0-2, failing to get 2 bunts down. He did make the play that was intended for him to make by hitting a ground ball to the right side, move the runner over. But this is an opportunity to have a big inning. And again, a tie game in the 5th inning.
For your 2-hitter.
Yes.
For your 2-hitter. And this is what we talk about, too, all the time with lineup construction, too. Why we vouch that you need to have your best hitters hitting 1, 2, 3 in this lineup is because there's really no world where your 2-hitter in a tie game with no outs like that should be bunting.
In the 5th inning.
As the away team in the 5th inning.
In the 5th inning. It was so early in the game. If this was the 8th inning, maybe, and you want to squeak out a lead to get your bullpen in the mound, I could understand it a little bit. But in the 5th inning, you're giving up your shot at a big inning. And of course, right after the bunt, it didn't matter at all because Paul Goldschmidt laced a double.
Yeah.
The runner scored. Now Goldschmidt standing on second base. And then we did get out of it because Chris Bassitt got Nolan Arenado and Juan Yepez. Juan Yepez. I keep saying Juan Yepez.
Yeah.
Juan Yepez. But if they didn't give us that first out of the inning, there's what? Conservatively, a 22% chance that Brandon Donovan just gets a hit.
Yeah.
A 30% chance he just reaches base. You're handing us an out.
Yeah.
You gave it to us. That bunted attempt and just the idea that Brandon Donovan was up there to give himself up, that kind of saved the Mets here and kept them in this game early and only got the Cardinals ahead by 1 run.
For sure. And Dakota Hudson, of course, like we mentioned, he was in the game. But luckily, after this inning, we were able to knock him out because he's just not good.
No, he's not good at all. It started off with a loud Guillorme double, who's just a great hitter. OPS over 800.
Dude, we were so cash money with King Louie.
Yeah.
I mean,
It took a year.
It took a year. But if you guys go back to some of the first episodes, go back to the season preview. We were hyping up Luis Guillorme, and he's doing the exact role we expect him to do last year, which is playing second, playing third, playing short, getting in the lineup, pinch hitting, and making an impact every single game. He's hitting the ball hard. He's getting on base. He doesn't strike out, and he plays great defense. This guy deserves to play every single day, and I think you can probably tell Buck's taking a liking to him because he's playing a lot more recently.
Of course, there's no reason for him not to be playing. Statistically, right now, he's one of the best hitters on this team.
Which is funny. It's like just so funny to say for a guy who nobody came into the year saying he would be one of the best hitters in this lineup.
For all the old head, the batting average people, he's hitting over 300. Yeah. He was, 0 for his first 11 this year before he shaved the beard?
Yeah, once he shaved the beard,
it all changed.
And you know what? I love that too. That's a guy who's committed to the game.
Definitely a guy who's committed to the game. He didn't debut until he was, 25 after being drafted out of high school. The guy's a grinder. He does so many tiny things well, and having him at the bottom of this order helps us move it around. And he eventually came around to score on a ground ball by Brandon Nimmo. And then we had a little bit more of a rally, wound up knocking Dakota Hudson out of the game with a Canha single, a Lindor single, Alonso walk, and Jeff McNeil a big 2-out RBI single, something he made a real habit of doing this entire series.
He's so sick, man. He's so back. He had a game today, couple hits, I think, right?
How many times is Mark going to say Jeff McNeil's back?
I'm going to say it every single episode until the Mets win the World Series at the end of the year. And then if they do, I'll say it next year too. I'm going to say he's so back. Remember when people wanted him traded? Remember when that was the thing? The Mets were looking to trade Jeff McNeil.
They were looking to see what they could get for him.
It's crazy.
They might have sent a message to him.
And listen, maybe it's what he needed. We saw he was at the Rangers game too. Him and Lindor had that little thing. They were sitting next to each other, pounding beers. That's all I want. I want him and Lindor to be friends forever and be the middle infield for the future.
Great. They are right now. The future. We'll see how long the future takes, but they're the middle infield right now. But something we talk about a lot in the show too, Chris Bassitt, after the Mets took a rally, had a rally to take a 2-run lead. He had a shutdown inning, put the Cardinals down in order, and just kind of cemented another really good, solid, steady Chris Bassitt start. He wound up trying to get worked out there for the 7th. He got knocked out, but this is now in the wake of the Scherzer injury. Chris Bassitt becomes a guy who we need to just protect with everything that we possibly have.
Chris Bassitt's our number one.
He's our ace. Chris Bassitt's our ace right now. I don't even feel that bad to say it. We should put this guy in bubble wrap in between his starts and make sure he is safe, healthy, okay.
Don't even send him to Colorado. Don't let him
don't let him on the plane.
No, don't let altitude? Altitude sickness, that's like the worst thing that could happen right now. Don't let Chris Bassitt go to Colorado. Just send him to San Francisco after this game.
I don't even like that much.
Listen, just put him in a nice hotel, put him in a Four Seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Let him be comfy, room service, whatever he wants. Protect him at all costs.
Absolutely. And this was a game that was probably statistically under the hood one of Bassitt's not so good games compared to the rest of the year. Yeah. Only 9 whiffs in this one, very low mark for him, but just steady. He threw all 6 pitches again, which is such a cool thing. We've kind of seen him this year have some, looks like, communication issues with whoever's catching, just going through signs over and over and over again. And I really think that's just because he has 6 pitches.
Yeah.
And there's so few guys in baseball who have 6 pitches. Like the Mets still run the traditional signs with fingers. How do you signal a 6th pitch?
Fist, I think.
Fist? Yeah, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think fist is normally either pitch out, and then I think thumb is usually pick off.
But we're using all those.
Yeah, I have no idea.
6 pitches. He's throwing 6 pitches out there. It's hard for a catcher to keep. I don't even know PitchCom how I have a 6th button.
That's a really good point. I never even thought about it. Maybe that's why he can't use PitchCom. There's
not too many pitches.
Does Yu Darvish use it? We got to find out.
Padres, we'll take a look at that for the next episode. Actually, no, maybe we'll take a look at that for a few weeks before we play against them. Yeah, that'd be a cool series to go to. Everything was good for Bassitt. Again, he threw the 6th inning and it looked good. He only had about 90 pitches after a very quick 6th. The shutdown inning, like we mentioned. Tried to stretch him out for the 7th because his bullpen is just beleaguered. But Bassitt gave us what we needed, and that's very important.
Yeah, and then, kind of just jump to the 9th inning now, right? Might as well jump to the 9th. Friggin', God, man, Harrison Bader. That dude's so annoying. He's a solid ball player. I don't think he's particularly great.
He's a good ball player.
He's good.
He's the kind of guy who he comes up, you develop that guy internally, and he comes up, and you're just high-fiving each other. Because you got gold glove defense in center field, and a guy who's not a train wreck at the plate for free.
Yeah, he'd be a great 9 hitter. I'd love him to hit 9th in this lineup, kind of thing.
He's like every team has a guy like that. He's kind of like a Guillorme-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. And he did a Harrison Bader thing, just hit a little chopper in between, or it was between third and short, and he just beat it out. Another doink. It felt like the Cardinals, if they weren't hitting home runs, were just dinking and doinking it all over the place, all series long. He ended up stealing 2nd because Edwin Diaz is on the mound. He can't hold on, guys. It's just not a thing when he's got too much moving parts. And to be honest, I want him focusing on pitching the ball.
I don't think Edwin Diaz throwing the ball at first base.
Have we ever seen him pick off?
Maybe one of those step off, but then you lollipop.
Yeah, the lollipop over because I don't want to throw it away. Ground ball by Molina got him to third base, who had an annoying at-bat because he's, of course, Yadier Molina.
He threw a pitch at a slider, and him and Edwin had a nice laugh about it, in between the... He literally threw his bat. The bat left his hands to make contact with a slider.
We then got the huge K of Tommy Edman on a pitch up and in on the zone for a called strike 3, which is a spot you never see a called strike 3
Nice call. It was a very nice call by the ump there.
Yeah, huge call, especially for a guy who doesn't strike out and just always puts the ball in play. And we're like, oh... Edwin, now you get to face Brendan Donovan again. Why are you hitting this guy too?
With 2 outs.
No, he's playing well, but this lineup, it's crazy that Arenado and Goldschmidt don't hit 2 and 3. Like,
or even Yepes.
Yeah, like it's criminal. It's criminal with how much good hitters they do have. And then he had 4-pitch walk to Donovan, and it felt like the wind, the air was being sucked out again. Kind of got that feeling of like, uh-oh.
You got that feeling where if we leave this inning tied, I will be okay with it.
Yes, and I mean, me and you were saying that. We were watching the game. We're like, if we get out of this 5-5, we're okay. We just have to keep it 5-5.
You were not saying that.
I said 5-5.
We were talking about that in the 10th inning. 9th inning, you were like, we're letting a win get away.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous. I wasn't feeling great.
No.
I was very much like, okay, this is big for Edwin because we've seen him in these scenarios before, and he has a tend to snowball the mistakes and give up a huge inning, but Edwin's a different pitcher this year. We know that. And, Goldie had a tough at-bat. He ended up hitting a soft ground ball to short or third base. Escobar booted it. That tied the game, and it was like, oh, man, so close to it again. Kind of felt like everything got sucked out of the stadium. That was when the tie ball game happened.
This was like the worst possible day to have an Edwin Diaz blown save. After people were rallying against Francisco Lindor, after you learned that you weren't going to have Max Scherzer for probably about 2 full months, it was not a good day for Edwin Diaz to blow a save.
No, it was not. He walked Arenado.
Yes, control is very shaky for Edwin this inning. Once he struck out Tommy Edman, once he got a gift, it's almost like the baseball karma went against Edman, went against Diaz for that, and then just he couldn't find a strike zone. It almost seemed like he was also scared to throw his slider for a good quality 10 pitches, just because the man on third, like that is such a scary proposition. Like blowing a save on a ball that's booted is rough.
Yeah.
If you would have blown a save on a wild pitch or a pass ball, like you would have been beside yourself.
It's the last thing I want to hear from Mets fans, too.
Right? It looked like he would just seem to be overthinking a little bit, and then when Edwin overthinks, his mechanic's so crazy, he just starts flying everywhere, all the limbs.
Then went to the bottom 9th, and we were feeling good because top of the order, but it was just kind of easy. I mean, not great at bats by particularly. Nimmo hit the ball hard.
Yeah,
he hit the ball hard, but it was just right at somebody. It was at Brendan Donovan or Tommy Edman, who was ever playing second base.
There's also another instance of where you see why you should do everything you can to have your best hitters at the top of the order, because there's a chance if the Cardinals had gotten another run in this game and the Mets did go down 1-2-3 in the 9th, you would have left this game with Mark Canha having an at-bat in a situation instead of Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
And we all saw very quickly later on how important an extra Pete Alonso at bat can be for a team.
Yes, because after we went to extras, Colin Holderman gave up 1, which is a pretty good job for a guy who has been hanging out in the minors, going up against the Cardinals.
And he very much looks good. Another good call by us.
Yeah, he looks
like he could stick in this bullpen.
Yeah, for sure. Like Miguel Castro, who we got
Heavyweight.
Colin Holderman now, baby.
Heavy fastball.
Did a really, really good job. And then, of course, we start off the inning. Pete Alonso at the plate, Francisco Lindor on second. Bang! Walk-off home run, an absolute nuke. Hit it up to the Coors Light skyline, which I was sitting in for Game 3. Man, what a great ending to a day, because boy, oh boy, did the Mets need it. Did Mets fans need it? I think for everyone's psyche, to win that game was really, really important, to not be like the sky is falling. We had a scenario where we lose Max Scherzer, blow a lead, Edwin Diaz blows a game, and Francisco Lindor strikes out in the 9th inning to lose the game.
And you would have blown a series.
Yeah, and we would have blown winning a series. That would have been sky is falling, even though that would have been crazy. But you could see how that would happen. Luckily, we did not, and the Mets just roll on and get 3 or 4 right there.
Absolutely. One of the quickest blown saves literally in the history of baseball. It took 2 pitches for Giovanni Gallegos to blow this save.
Which is awesome, because it seems like the Mets see him really, really well.
Incredibly well.
Really well. And this was an interesting game, too, because both teams, I mean, I know we said dinked and doinked a little bit. I didn't even realize
the Cardinals, the late rallies were dinked and doinked, but they were hitting the ball hard off Bassitt.
Yeah, 15 hard hit balls. Mets had 13.
Yeah.
Almost every single player in both lineups had a hard hit ball, except the catchers. Andrew Kisner and Tomas Nido. No hard hit balls amongst those two. Yachty, I don't think, had one either. But regardless, Mets win. Let's talk about the rest of the series now, though, because there was obviously other games that went on. This was just the most recent one.
It was a well-played series. All of the games were good.
We had the doubleheader because of the day that it didn't rain, that they very well
It rained a little bit. They probably could have found a way to play, but what they said when they canceled it, like the language they used was they were worried about people coming to the park.
Interesting.
So like the people coming from Jersey, the people coming from Long Island, the storm hit worse in those areas. So while it didn't rain that much in Queens, I don't think they wanted to put pressure on people to come because they paid for a ticket already.
That's fair. And I mean, we did get the doubleheader, which I'm so tired of doubleheaders. But
I thought we were done with them after last year.
Yeah, we might have another one coming up
here. Yeah, right.
Too.
Saturday again.
Awful. And we had Trevor Williams on the mound for game 1. And, of course, Trevor Williams was kind of really good. Shout out to Trevor Williams.
And Jake Reed.
Yeah, and Jake Reed. Those guys really were awesome in game one for us.
No, those two guys combined for 6 innings, I think 8 strikeouts. Like, these guys were great. Trevor Williams got the most whiffs I ever remember him getting in a game with the Mets. 11 of those 12 on his just 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
What's his deal?
I think it was just one of those days.
Just one of those days where you're like, it's a doubleheader, it's early.
Yeah, and just have Trevor Williams throwing strikes. I don't want to hit it. But, hey, he went out there, great 4 innings for Trevor Williams. Proud of Buck for not trying to stretch him through to get to see the lineup again.
Big.
Yes.
Big. And then he did the thing that I was asking for him in the last episode, which was if you're going to have Jake Reed on the roster, in the 5th inning of the game, you have to use him.
Get him in.
And he did.
Yes.
And while it was a little shaky at the start,
yes,
Jake Reed ended up cleaning it up and having a really nice outing.
Jake Reed's slider's like pretty good.
He's just funky. He's funky. Something different, something that the Mets don't have in this, plethora of pitching that we got.
If you look at some of the smartest teams in baseball, teams we reference all the time, teams like the Rays, the Dodgers, the Giants, Milwaukee, all their relievers throw from a different arm slot. There's a cool visual that was put out, I think by Codify a few years ago, or it might have been Driveline, where it showed the Rays bullpen, and they basically transposed the Rays bullpen onto they made a clock, and they had a picture of every single Rays reliever in the middle of their release, and it was basically they covered the entire clock, like every single angle from both sides, do it, and that's what Jake Reed gives, and he got a very big strikeout of Nolan Arenado in the 5th with 2 men on and completed 2 scoreless innings. And these 2 guys, Trevor Williams and Jake Reed, 2 guys who most Mets fans would have not dreamed of them being near a game in the middle of May, wound up de facto having a good start. 6 innings, no runs.
We talk about creative player names all the time. These are 2 creative player
Jake
names.
Reed,
right
Trevor
here.
Williams, for sure. These are creative players.
Go Play MLB The Show right now. You can find these guys in the free agent pool 100%, and it's not the real players.
No, and now, given the circumstances we're going to be dealing with, we need more guys like this to step up. And this was a good step in the right direction, to use the word step twice in a row there, for the Mets pitching depth, as we are going to lean on them more than we have so far this year.
Yep, and it was kind of like a fun little game, too, because everyone was kind of pitching in. We had Jankowski having a big fielder's choice, which was really cool. The dude's he's scrappy, man. He's scrappy, and might be Shakira's favorite Met. Did you see that on Instagram?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, she posted pictures of when she came to Citi Field, I think last week, and the only picture that she posted of with a player was with Travis Jankowski, and she made a point to say, met Travis Jankowski.
There's 2 things that could have happened there. One, either Shakira was like, oh, this guy's tall. He has long hair. He's blonde. Like, I like that guy. Or 2, Shakira doesn't know anything about any baseball at all, and she was like, I want to be the player. And then they were like, Travis, come here. He was just closest. And then she's like, I got a picture of Travis Jankowski. She thought he was like a great player.
Tell me Francisco Lindor and Starling Marte and Eduardo Escobar don't know Shakira.
I mean, I'm sure they do, but I'm sure they weren't around. Like, I don't know. I think
possible.
Or sometimes you kind of like what you don't have. She's married to PK.
Yeah. Peak physical athlete.
Yeah, peak physical athlete. Give me that skinny blonde white guy.
Yeah, give me the surfer looking dude over there. But yeah, Jankowski making an impact as he always does with the legs, which is something that we've lacked forever. And then McNeil and Dom, 2 big doubles, which were great for us in this game, especially because Dom, we've been mentioning, had been struggling a little bit, swinging the bat a little bit better. Yeah. A little bit. Incrementally better than what we have been seeing. So it was nice. We just got to Michaelis, got to him, got to the bullpen.
You kind of got to him, but you didn't get to him as much as you kind of would have hoped to get to him. The first 3 innings, the Mets really had him on the ropes. First 2 especially, he threw over 50 pitches. Like, you thought in the first game of a doubleheader that if you got to Miles Michaelis like that, a guy who the last time we faced them was really annoying because you felt like you could hit him, but you couldn't hit him. Now felt like we were actually hitting him. You knock him out of the game, 3rd, 4th inning, you're going to run ravage on a Cardinals bullpen. That's one game completely sacrificed. In the second game, you probably have an advantage. But he just got people out, and he got through 6 innings. Kind of saved the Cardinals bullpen. Him and their bats lulled against Packy Naughton. Oh my God. To have these 2 guys have completed 8 innings in this game, save the Cardinals for the second game of this doubleheader.
Packy Naughton.
Packy.
Jeez,
he's literally named after a liquor store.
Packy Naughton. Gross. On the bullpen side, Drew Chains gave up another home run.
This was his 3rd outing in a row with a home run, I believe.
Yep, Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, it was a really good pitch.
It was a bizarre home run. It kind of showed like the essence of what these new baseballs are and how to actually get it out of the park, because Goldschmidt just kind of like threw the bat head on it. I don't remember if it was a slider or a fastball.
Fastball outside. It was off the plate.
Yeah, low.
Like low middle.
Yeah, but Goldschmidt just got the head on it, and it just kind of just soared through the air, like kind of cut through the afternoon air, because it wasn't very high a launch angle, 24 degrees compared to the one we talked about from Friday from Pete Alonso being 32 degrees. Same miles an hour, though, 102 off the bat, as Pete's from the other night. And just kind of like, just shot through the air and got out.
Yeah.
Which, in a 3-run game, solo home run, not going to kill you. Maybe this could be a thing with Drew Smith now. Hitters starting to get more tape on him. He's really been only throwing those 2 pitches all year. He might be susceptible to the home run ball, but it's all right. Solo home run. What are you going to do?
Edwin Diaz made it interesting, but we got the W.
It was cool. 2 quick outs, and then 2 guys got on, and then he found it. But yeah,
he found it. It was good. Game 1 in the books, got the W. Game 2, We were at the bar. We were watching this. Shout out to our boy Drew. It was his birthday, so we're getting some drinks, and I had the best chicken tenders of my life at this place.
Very not gluten-free friendly bar.
Yeah, so we won't shout it out, but I will say the chicken tenders were bomb.
Because it was a good bar in general. I'm not going to say it wasn't a good bar. And,
Yeah.
and these guys were raving about chicken tenders, which was just making me die inside. I love chicken tenders, but no gluten-free options, like basically in the whole menu.
So we were watching game 2, and it was annoying from the start. I mean,
Yeah, just one of those games.
everything about it. I mean, we're facing Steven Matz, who I hate. I hate Steven Matz. Good guy. Hate him
Yeah.
as a baseball player. Boy, did he stink for us. But the fact that we weren't really able to get to him, we got the home run early from Mark Canha because Marky Cheerios crushes left-handed pitching, especially at Citi Field. Max Fried and Steven Matz now.
Yeah.
He's crushing the left-handed pitching. And then that just like, it kind of was, that was it. We had the home runs, which is weird because we don't normally hit them.
This game was weird for the Mets because we like very much didn't deserve to win it, but we also really easily could have.
Yeah, the Cardinals out-hit us. They played a better game, I think, by all aspects
but
of
the
it.
Cardinals also were just kind of getting those cheapo hits. Like they had, I think it was 5 or 6 infield hits in this game.
Yeah.
One that we'll talk about in a few minutes, infield hit that actually won them the game. But Canha, like you said, the solo home run in the first, another first inning run because we do it every single freaking game. It's ridiculous. Eduardo Escobar hit a solo in the fourth, and we only got one other hit off of Steven Matz. We only had 5 hits in the game total and 3 off of Steven Matz, and he cruised. 7 Ks, like he looked good.
You know what's kind of cool, though? The fact that he pitched well against the Mets, and I feel like I didn't hear much about it.
Yeah, because there were so many things in the series.
Yeah, people complain about Lindor in this
Yeah.
game. That's why. But,
But also, you wanted something that's really going to suck?
yeah, hit me.
Steven Matz pitched 2 games against the Mets this season, and the Cardinals won both.
Oh, jeez. Why you got... Don't put that out into the internet. Don't tell anybody that.
Those are the only 2 they won.
Shh, don't stop. Keep that a secret. Don't let people know that the 2 games that the Cardinals won were when Steven Matz pitched. Don't tell them that.
Oh, man, I shouldn't have said that.
We're keeping it in there, though.
Yeah, I know. I would cut it, but I had too much pride.
It was good content.
It was good content.
It was good content. If anything, we were unbiased.
Of course, biasedly unbiased.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
We love the Mets, but we're still real people.
For sure. And on our pitching side, Taiwan did his Taiwan thing.
Yeah.
Not many whiffs, 4Ks, lots of hard contact. I just think, I mean, we've been saying it for a while now. That's just Taiwan. He's not the all-star pitcher that we saw last year at the start of the year. I don't know how many times we have to say this, but I think people are starting to understand that Taiwan is very much a depth piece in this rotation.
But that also doesn't mean that he's bad. Like now, the fact that Taiwan Walker is going to be like a 3 or 4 star in this team, like he's at least going to go out there and work. He's going to throw innings. And something big from Taiwan that kind of gives me some confidence, at least in the immediate future for him, was that his split change was very, very good. It's kind of like a make or break pitch for him because he doesn't really have an elite, I don't know, like his repertoire, his pitch mix isn't elite. Like his pitch movement isn't elite. There isn't anything that you watch Taiwan pitch and you're like, oh, that's a mind-blowing pitch. But this splitter kind of can do that. Split change, not splitter. It can do that. The way it just dives out of the zone. It was the second most thrown pitch, over 30% of the time, and it got 6 whiffs on 11 swings. It was useful against righties and lefties. This is something where Taiwan Walker is going to step up over these next 6 to 8 weeks, have an ERA under 4, pitch deep into games against good teams. He's going to have to lean on that split change, and I was happy to see him using it so liberally here.
Yeah, the whiffs that he gets on it really does help expand the outcomes that he can possibly have as a pitcher.
Yeah, especially also because now he just doesn't throw the 2-seamer anymore, the pitch that kind of carried him last year. I don't know if that was something, a feel with the pitch, maybe just eventually got figured out and he didn't want to throw it anymore, but he's not only, it's 4-seam fastball, sliders, and that split change. So he pitched well enough to win this game. He didn't, Cardinals got to him, and they especially got to him the third time around the batting order in the 5th inning, which in a perfect world, you wouldn't want Taiwan Walker to see a batting order for the 3rd time, but in this new world, he's going to have to, and it's going to be the make or break in a lot of games on whether or not Taiwan Walker can get hitters out for a 3rd time.
Yeah, Mets, you can't blame the Mets. It was after the doubleheader.
No, of course. I don't blame the Mets. I don't blame Taiwan Walker. You're in a doubleheader. You have to throw him out there and see what he can get done. But especially a lineup that's so talented at the top like the Cardinals with 4 of their top 5 hitters being like significantly better than league average, like this is going to happen, but we still plenty of chances to win. Still a lot of chance to win this game.
Yeah, especially when Andre Palante, who that's a name that I've heard a lot this week, which is kind of weird because I never heard of him before. Andre Palante, that is not a creative player name by any means, but he's bad.
Sounds like a sommelier.
He's not very good.
No, he's not good at all.
Not impressed with him, especially in his first appearance where he walked 3 straight batters in the 6th and put us right back in the game before Eduardo Escobar had just a bad at-bat.
After 3 consecutive walks, Eduardo Escobar struck out on 3 pitches.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to do that.
Bad.
Yeah.
It's just like when he strikes, we talked about this at the bar.
Yes.
When he's not going, I don't even know how do I explain this.
In a slump.
When he's in a slump, yeah, that's the best way to say it. His bad at bats are like brutally bad.
Yeah.
Brutally bad.
It's kind of like hitters like Eduardo Escobar like this. When you're in a slump, your aggressiveness is almost used against you.
Yeah.
Because you're so like keyed up to try and get a hit, try and break out of it. He did get a couple hits in the series. He didn't look
a home run in this game.
Yeah, he got a home run in this game. He had a sac fly in game 3. He didn't look as bad in this series as he did in the last one, so there's improvement here. But when you're someone who's as aggressive as Escobar, and you're in an RBI situation, in a lot of RBI situations, because the top of this Mets order gets on base at will.
Yeah.
They have a lot of guys who live on base. It's pretty nice to see and nice to watch. Good lineup construction in a way, but he seems very, very ready to make an impact, and pitchers can prey on that, or might not even be intentional. This guy Palante just couldn't find the zone, and just set Eduardo Escobar down. It was a little upsetting.
Yeah, a little upsetting. Kind of killed us. And then we got a good rally in the 8th. Lindor walk, because Lindor's a pretty good player, and he gets on base. He's walking, I think, 13% of the time or 12% of the time, something around that.
Probably significantly more after like 6 walks in the last 2 days.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He went 8 of his last 9 after this game.
Yes, after this game, and then the first at bat of the next game, he was on base 8 consecutive plate appearances,
which was awesome.
Yes.
That was absolutely awesome. We tried to get another rally. Another strikeout by Escobar.
On 3 pitches again.
Late in the game.
Back-to-back at-bats with 2 men on. Well, the first one was bases low. This one was 2 men on. Struck out in 3 pitches. But then we did get a pass ball, and Jeff McNeil got a hit, because Jeff McNeil's awesome. Jeff McNeil's back. 2 out, single.
He's the man. That's what Jeff's going to hit singles all year long.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll get his double down the line.
Live.
Might hit a home run or 2
Sure.
maybe in Colorado this next week.
Don't care.
Which would be great, but he's really back to the way that he was playing before, and I love it, and it helps his team so much to have that depth in the lineup where he's just going to constantly put the ball in play and get hits.
And now suddenly we're looking at a game where you're facing the Cardinals, who had about, I think, double-digit hits at this point, a starting pitcher who pitched very well, and you just tied the game on some cheapo stuff. Like, this is this game where it's like, we can steal this game against the Cardinals. We can lock in our first 2 wins in this series in one day and a doubleheader. You're cruising. Everything's crystal clear, but we gave it right back in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, wasn't happy about Joely coming out for the next inning.
No. Well, Joely Rodriguez just has a backtrack here. He came in the 7th and got the Mets out of a jam, got Tommy Edman to ground out with 2 on. Felt good.
Yeah.
But again, you're in a doubleheader. You got to stretch things out. And Joely Rodriguez came back out to face the very right-handed heavy middle of the Cardinals order to start the 9th inning. Oh, so I say went back in the 7th before. That was the 8th, so my bad, guys. But another time where Brandon Donovan's up and you're like, this is a gift. We can start this hitting off with an out because Brandon Donovan is a quadruple A player. Look good this series, though, but he's not up to the caliber of most 2 hitters and not up to the caliber of other guys who could be hitting second in this lineup. Joely walked him to lead off the 9th inning. And when you walk guys to lead off innings, they all very often come around to score, especially in situations like this, especially against fundamentally sound teams like the Cardinals who play good baseball. And this walk was especially annoying because the strike zone was very much moving around on Joely. It seemed like whoever was the umpire in this game was not exactly consistent because there was a large period of this game where pitches about an inch off the edges were being called, and suddenly they were not being called anymore, and he did miss a ball in the corner. Joely didn't pitch up to the standard that we expect of him so far. I think most Mets fans are now also back to level on Joely, especially after Miguel Castro's finally had some rough outings for the Yankees. He blew a game against the Orioles, the classic Miguel Castro special, 2 walks and a big hit. But this was disappointing, and it's very sad when you walk a guy like Brandon Donovan with Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado coming up next.
He did a decent job after that. Like, he was able to kind of get through the middle of the order a little bit. Ottavino ends up coming in, though, to face Arenado. What did he do to Arenado?
Struck him out.
Struck him out, yes, struck him out. I think, dude, this game feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It feels like these 4-game series ones.
Yeah.
The first day of the series feels like a month ago.
Literally. And that was it wasn't even a full 4 days ago.
No, it was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But 4 baseball games? Oh, my goodness. But yeah, I mean, the reason I forget about that, though, is because the play that really mattered and was the biggest one was the Tyler O'Neill doink shot to Eduardo Escobar.
A dribbler.
Yeah, that he couldn't field cleanly, couldn't get the ball out of the glove. O'Neill, who is fast,
very
beat
fast.
it out to first.
Good athlete.
We go down 4-3, and that was just like,
Yep.
we had a chance to get out of a really rough inning with no damage and a tie game going into the 9th. Instead, down 4-3, and that's all of a sudden, you're like, it's a difference between being ready to try to win this game and then backs are up against the wall.
Yes, backs up against the wall. And we came out for the 9th inning against Giovanni Gallegos, a guy that he's a good closer, but he's not a great one. He's not a closer you really fear. He's a closer you can get out after. Travis Jankowski grounded out to lead off the inning. Dom Smith walked. Luis Guillorme singled. And now we had some juice. We had the top of the order here, ready to rock. Mark Canha struck out swinging. And then Francisco Lindor struck out swinging to end the game. And that bat that has angered Mets fans as angry as I've seen them in recent memory.
Yeah, people were ready to, cut Francisco Lindor. They were treating him like he'd been playing like Robinson Cano.
Yeah, also right after Mark Canha also struck out swinging.
Yeah, and also we had like the weird Nimmo injury where he fouled one off his knee, right? Or hit, he fouled one off his knee and then tried to run to first, and he left the game. That's why Guillorme was hitting in the one spot for him. It was just like the fact that Lindor struck out was not the reason we lost this game. Like the Mets still got outplayed in this one, I like to say, especially because the Cardinals had 10 hits, the Mets had 4, I think, in this 5. So to really dog Lindor for this, it's very similar to like the A-Rod treatment, I will say, of like you can really cherry pick when he doesn't succeed, but it seems like everyone seems to forget when he does.
Yes.
And Lindor, for the most part, still succeeds a lot more than he doesn't.
For sure. It's just really the batting average.
Yeah, that's really what it is. He gets on base a ton. He's hitting home runs like we saw. He's playing great defense again. The throws are right back to normal. He said he was dropping sidearm a little bit too much, and he's cleaned it up, and the throws have been great. I mean, he's going to strike out, guys. He's going to strike out. He can't get a hit every single time in a big spot.
The irony is that if the Mets just would have gone down 1-2-3 in that inning, the situation never would have come up and no one ever would have talked about it. It's just the fact that the Mets actually did have a little mini rally in the form of a walk and a single to get the tying run to scoring position to go ahead right on base. That put Francisco Lindor in a situation where he could have made a big play. He just didn't. Hit or strike out. It's baseball. Like, that's it. It's how it works. Even if you're one of the best hitters in the league, you're failing 70% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get over it.
Gotta get over it, especially for a guy who will continue to tell you is good. And I will say it's super funny that we had the one fan reach out to us, Wick-Sax. I'm gonna call you out, dude. You're like, tell me he's good, but don't give me any of those analytics stats.
I don't know what to say then.
What do we tell you? What
He's
do you
like, there's
hear?
something wrong with the eye test. I'm like, that's just your eye then, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to. Don't tell me numbers. Tell me why he's good. Like, well, numbers back up why he's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's good, guys. I'm sorry.
He's
he
good.
struck out to end this game. It would have been nice if he got a hit, but he's good.
He's good. Now let's move on to game 3. The boys were in attendance. We're at BP. Could be cool. Could be cool if you're watching the YouTube video here. The eyes are big.
It's the eye emoji.
Eyes emojis. Keep that in mind.
We should put pictures on Twitter with players.
Adam Ottavino.
Dom Smith.
Maybe a few more.
Kind of cool.
Maybe something's cooking in the works. You guys will find out hopefully soon here.
Hopefully.
But let me tell you. Yeah, hopefully. My goodness. But let me tell you this. When the boys are in attendance, specifically together, if we come separately or we're sitting in different areas, something happens. But when we're together, the Mets hit. And that's exactly what they did this game. They were absolutely smacking it around. And with Max Scherzer on the mound, you always feel good when the Mets can score some runs with him on there.
It almost feels dirty to talk about this game as like a Max Scherzer start. Now, knowing what we know and going through 45 minutes of this podcast with that.
Do we even want to talk about? Let's just.
I mean, we'll briefly mention him. You already brought it up, but like we'll talk about. I'm just not gonna do a show. I'm not breaking him down. I'm not breaking down the start.
Of course not. He's not pitching for 6 weeks.
We'll allude to Max Scherzer, but we can't talk about his game as like a Scherzer day, which I tweeted. That was probably me. I jinxed it because I tweeted with him. Yes, me. That was not me. I'm sorry, guys. But this game, we did get the hits, but it was very tight early. We scored the first inning run because that's what we do every single game. We actually got 2. Nimmo got a walk. Canha got a single. Lindor had an early strikeout also with men on. And people were freaking out in the stands. Just like hearing the murmurs of the olds, like hanging out in the stands, people were pissed.
Dude, especially because he walked up to Happy by Pharrell, which was definitely a little troll job.
Big troll move.
But also I could see Lindor being like, I need to stay positive. And this is about the most positive song ever. It's also top 5 worst song of all time.
I think he did it fully as a troll.
Think so? I hope so. I hope he doesn't like that song because like anyone who likes to listen to Happy by Pharrell, like there's almost something wrong. You're hiding
There's
something.
almost no way Pharrell likes that song.
He can't. That was I need to make some quick money fast.
That's like not even Pharrell's like top 50 songs.
It's gonna be like
top 100
in a movie like The Smurfs or something.
Yeah, no, I think it was Despicable Me.
Yeah, it was Despicable Me. Get a big check. That's what that was.
Fat check.
Get a Lindor check.
Yeah, right. 30 million, take it. Do you think Pharrell got more or less than a $30 million check for that song? I know that song probably made him more than $30 million in total, but do you think just to use the rights to that song is more or less than a one Francisco Lindor season?
Oh,
people are gonna hate this argument.
I think it might be more.
I think it might be. I think
it might be 50. That's where I was
like a Benny Blanco check.
Yeah. Oh man, it must be great to be musically talented. It must be great to have a talent besides talking about baseball.
Also amazing that like guys like that can still be really talented and be able to sell out when they want and just make tons of money and then go back to actually doing what they like to do.
He's a very successful musician.
Of course, Pharrell's incredible.
Great producer.
One of the best.
Great producer.
His album with Nerd from like 2002, amazing rap album. But let's keep talking about baseball.
Yeah, let's keep talking about baseball. Lindor struck out. McNeil 2-out RBI though.
2-out single, baby. That's all he does. He's in like literally 3 separate times this series.
So there was a stat coming into one of the games. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it might have been last series. But in 2-out situations with runners in scoring positions, at one point McNeil was like 9 for 9 or 10 for 10 and driving in the run.
I almost don't believe you.
No, I'm serious. And then it happened again, and like he got out once, and then this series, it felt like every single time the runners in scoring position, he just put the ball in play and scored.
He got out a few times in Game 4, got in scoring position. Remember with that inning where I think it was Andre Palante was like basically playing goalie on the mound.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like 3 straight balls hit him.
Oh yeah, that wasn't his fault. He hit the ball well.
It was crazy. One was in the foot, one was in like the shoulder, one was in the hip.
Yeah, no, he was scorching the ball. So it was a great start.
Yeah.
Early, again, getting runs. But Albert Pujols, the pesky 48-year-old man. Yes, 48 years old. He's not 43. There's absolutely no chance.
No.
48-year-old man just smacks the ball down the line. 2 runs right back.
I almost like wasn't even mad. It was just like a good piece of hitting. I think it was an outside slider or cutter from Scherzer.
Also, like the last time me and you will probably in person never see Albert Pujols play. So,
Probably, yeah.
we won this game. So now in
yeah.
retrospect, I can say that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we like seeing our Pujols up close. Like we had a chance to see him really up close, and Mark and I kind of both showed ourselves a little bit before the game, but we didn't. But just like seeing him just like take a pitch like down the first base line, when Pete was playing him off the line, just also funny. Like the ball got down the line, Albert's just like going to first like with his waddle, like he does now in his old age. Like he's not fresh enough to 2.
No, oh hell no, he's so slow.
Yeah. But like also this inning wouldn't even have happened. These runs would not have scored if not for another Eduardo Escobar misplay at third, a bad throw.
Yeah.
It was behind the bag. It was not an easy throw. It was a tough luck error, but I would like to make that play. It was a leadoff ground ball, and that kind of opened up this rally for the Cards.
That's something that when Eduardo Escobar's not working at the plate, you hope he can do defensively for you.
And it's also the kind of thing where he's not working the plate. Everyone will really notice that more so. Like John Yastrzemski, one of the
Jesus.
Can I say one of the dumbest people on television?
John Yastrzemski.
Yastrzemski.
I mean, who cares? Pronounce his name wrong. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
John Yastrzemski was just railing against Eduardo Escobar's defense. And Eduardo Escobar generally is a good defensive player. He did make multiple misplays in the series. And that's not, the guy's not going well. But just like when a guy like John Yastrzemski, who doesn't seem to watch the games like super closely, he's like harping on Eduardo Escobar's defense. Like, you know that he's a guy who's popularly bad right now.
Dude, he's a fucking Yankees fan talking about the Mets game because he's not good enough for yes even. Like, I mean, I don't want to hear this guy's
It's good enough for
opinion.
the Ringer somehow.
Yeah, well, it's the Ringer. Ugh, whatever. I don't really care about the Ringer either.
I mean, don't be mean to them. They could be. I mean, the Ringer picks off podcasts left and right.
I think we'll be all right. You guys don't get that. But I can't. As soon as we start hearing his voice, we had to turn that off. Because you definitely lose IQ points listening to John Yastrzemski talk baseball.
Definitely. But back to the game here. It just sat 2-2 for a while after that Pujols hit. Just both pitchers pitched well. Jordan Hicks, that's video game stuff. It was kind of frustrating, again, just not to hit him.
But he also does this weird thing where, like, you know how pitching, they always talk about, like, first pitch strikes are so big. Because you always see, like, players' performance, OPS, it drops. Every time you're behind the count, it just drops. It drops. He throws almost no first pitch strikes. He was sitting at, like, 25% first pitch strikes in this game.
I just don't understand the fact the Cardinals have very solid AAA pitching depth. They had Matthew Liberatore, who, after the game, the announcement was called up. Amazing that the Mets took 3 or 4 from the Cardinals. They brought their 2 best prospects up right away.
Sick.
That's sick.
Because those guys would have been locks to be lights out against us.
Absolutely. And also just shows that they're now pressing a little bit. They're like, oh, we lost a big-time season series to the Mets. Now we have to make some moves.
We've never made the Cardinals sweat, I think, in our lives.
I think Howie actually said this was the first time since, like, either 2005 or 2001 that the Mets beat the Cardinals 5 times at least 5 times in a single season.
Yeah, which, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's keep rolling here.
Absolutely. But Hicks came out of the game. We got to a nice little rally off the Cardinals' pen. Pete had RBI single. Escobar had a sac fly. Dom had a nice little single. Messed up for Dom. Guys talk to the Messed Up podcast. They play well immediately after.
Yep.
It's tried and true. It's just science, guys. I'm sorry. And there was a very sweet old school Luis Guillorme safety squeeze to get another run in and stretch the lead out to 4.
So it's so nice having. He's so fun. He's so fun. You know, Buck loves Luis Guillorme.
Like his son.
Luis Guillorme would be a Hall of Famer if he played in 1950.
Yeah, that guy reminds me of myself.
Ozzie Smith made the Hall of Fame. Remember that. And that's my Ozzie Smith slander for today. Yeah. Then the Scherzer injury happened. You know all about it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. It stunk. Mm-hmm. It was awful. It was terrible, and it felt like a gut punch. But Ottavino came in. Got a huge K, got Pujols out after 2 men on.
Another messed up bump.
And we got a little scary.
Yeah.
When Nolan Arenado hit an absolute bomb off of Seth Lugo.
Bomb. He had to do something to the Mets this series.
He's too good not to.
We really squashed the whole fight thing. It seemed to not even be relevant at all in this series. There were a couple hit by pitches and warnings given out, yes, but it just seemed like both teams were trying to move past it. There was also that moment that we didn't mention between Stubby and Pete.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Mr. Clapp?
Yeah, Mr. Clapp.
What's more embarrassing, Stubby or Mr. Clapp?
It's all pretty.
Because Mr. Clapp sounds like someone with chlamydia.
Well, yeah, he's got the clap. He's literally the clap.
Right. So Mr. Clapp and Pete gave each other like a kind of a bit of a head nod. I kind of wish Pete would have almost even given him more of a cold shoulder. Kind of sick to get the home run to end the series. Now thinking about it, Big high
another
five episode.
That is a sick way to end it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Totally didn't even think about the story because they really squashed the storyline.
Yeah.
It seemed, and also these being home games for the Mets, like they didn't really lean into it. Like whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's not. But there was a choice, and it seemed like they didn't want to make that the relevant part of the series.
Well, it's kind of even cooler that we kind of just like handed it to them this year.
Big time.
7 games, we won 5 of them. That's kind of the best way to squash the beef. We just beat your ass.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Pitching was well. And then we blew it all open again right after that Arenado home run, which was sick because a great response to what could have made the game feel a little bit tight.
It was a lead that was cut from 4-2. And your favorite guy, Frank Fleming, did you see the tweets from him from during this game?
No, I don't follow Frank.
Well, he just, every single time something kind of bad happened to the Mets, not including the Scherzer thing, because he was right about, because, broken clock is right twice a day. He was like, spiral, game's ending, game's over, we're done, over. And then the Mets just hilariously broke us open for what, like 7 runs? 5 runs here?
Yeah, Mets win by 7. 11-4 is the final score. Patrick Mazeika.
5 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, Patrick Mazeika, who might be a good ball player. Might know how to hit a little bit. The dude can swing the bat.
He put a ride into one early in this game. He hit a double down the line later on. The guy can swing it, but he hilariously, when this inning began, we got the leadoff man on. I don't remember who it was or how they got on, but I distinctly remember Patrick Mazeika bunting.
Yeah.
Which is kind of exactly what we were making fun of the Cardinals for in Game 4 of this series.
But Mazeika's the 9-hitter, so that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Not the 2-hitter, but just hilarious that we ended up scoring 5 runs this inning and we gave up and out.
Yeah, no, it was funny. But then Nimmo, the triple down the line, which is great because he loves hitting it down the line now. He's really perfected that. Good. We got the Canha single, Lindor walk. This is, of course, Mets'd Lindor getting on base nonstop. And then the Alonso, absolute bomb, smoked it. And that was really the cherry on top of this game. Mets just dominated the Cardinals late in the game, win 11-4. And as you guys know, we win the series 3-1, 5-2 on the year.
Yeah, took the Cardinals down, gave ourselves a very nice cushion against them as we will likely compete with them for a playoff spot, like we said over and over again. And just feels good to be the good team. Like Cardinals are a good roster. They have deep team. The pitching is not exactly something that you should be scared of, and we said that going in, and we hit them as well as basically could have hoped.
Yeah, and I mean, especially now with losing Scherzer and not having DeGrom, any games, they're big now.
Yeah, you got to drag, scratch and claw to get these wins.
Big wins. We do have to figure out who's going to fill that spot, though, for Scherzer. I don't think we're going to take too long on this, but maybe just throw out some names for some Mets fans that we could maybe look to. I think the real one that everyone wants, and this is going to be a pipe dream, but it's going to be crazy, Frankie Montas of the Oakland A's. That would probably be the number one guy I want.
He'd cost so much in the trade right now, just because once the season begins and teams have needs, like everyone in Major League Baseball knows right now, the Mets are desperate for a starting pitcher.
Yeah,
it could not be more obvious. So like they're going to make you pay a lot to get one. So I think more than getting an ace right now, the Mets probably, if they do look in the trade market, and I would like to break this down probably in depth Sunday, because I mean, knock on wood, I'm sure this Rocky series isn't going to have a lot of like specific game breakdowns for us to do, but guys on 1-year deals like Mike Minor, you threw out some names before. Who else?
Nathan Eovaldi's got a year
left.
But he's going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah, he's very good though. So he'll be an expensive rental.
Michael Wacha,
as awful and disgusting as that sounds.
I mean, a lot of the guys that I think are probably the most realistic, where the Mets wouldn't get fleeced, quote unquote fleeced in a trade. How much better are they really than the guys that could step up for the Mets? And we kind of have to see what we have at some point.
Yeah, especially like they signed Trevor Cahill. He's going to go to Syracuse. He'll probably get a spot start eventually. Mike Montgomery's been pitching down in Syracuse, old wily lefty who was on the Cubs for a while. He has a really good K- walk rate right now in the minor leagues. He's going to do well. A name that we've talked about a lot, Jose Budo, is pitching very well for Binghamton.
He's got to get a chance at some point.
At some point, it's either you move him up to AAA or you just throw him out there right now. He probably doesn't have enough stuff to get through a major league lineup even 2 full times.
One of these doubleheaders, though, that could be coming up.
Yeah, he's just 27th man. Just see what you got. He has a good fastball with a good shape, and he has a very good changeup. That's a plus pitch. There hasn't been a very lengthy track record of guys who are young coming up without elite velocity and with the leading secondary as a changeup who have been very good, but fuck it, maybe that means we're due.
Yeah.
It's a plus changeup, and his fastball's a good shape, and at least league average velocity. Like, he could be good enough to get 9 to 12 outs. Talking
with friend of the podcast, Matt Eddy, too, right, who said Adonis Medina could be a guy maybe.
Who gets stretched out here, and then Thomas Dupucki, his name we'll probably see again. He's actually had good results AAA this year.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's probably not any... We could,
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. We could do the clickbait thing. We could say Luis Castillo,
Frankie Montas,
Kyle Hendricks,
Nathan Eovaldi.
Maybe we will later, but in this episode, we're kind of still mourning the loss of Max Scherzer for 6 to 8 weeks.
And you just can't make a trade right now. Someone's going to just bend you over.
As they should.
Yeah, that's just good business.
Nobody should be trying to help out the Mets. I mean, like some of the fun names we threw out there. Bruce Zimmerman. I'd love some Bruce Zimmerman here.
Jordan Lyles.
I mean, those are fun names. Imagine saying
That's not fun names.
Those aren't fun names.
Lyles has been good this year.
He's been okay.
He's been fine.
He's been fine.
Big ballpark. We got a big one here too. So we got that. I mean, the real name that's going to have to step up and it's going to have to be very good is David Peterson.
Yeah.
The Mets need David Peterson to pitch like a 3-4 rather than a 5-6 right now. And there's a chance he can do that. It's not definite. I don't know if he will, but he is the guy who the most is going to fall on his shoulders, especially while Tyler McGill remains on the IL. And we've also had no timetable for him whatsoever, right?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, there's some names that like we could throw out there. I mean, Felix Pena has started before pitched for the Angels in the past. I mean, Tommy Hunter's a bullpen guy.
He can go two or three innings.
Yeah, 2 or 3 innings. I think Yancey could go probably two or three innings as well. So it might just turn into more of trying to find guys to eat innings as opposed to trying to find that next starter.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. It's going to stink. These next 6 to 8 weeks, especially with who we're playing, are going to be tough. Hopefully, one of the guys who gets this opportunity does step up, like Trevor Williams did this series.
Yes, and like David Peterson did early in the year. We're going to see those two guys a lot, and I think that there is a reason to believe that they can at least be competent and keep this train moving in the right direction.
Now, we do have our next series coming up here. The 7 line will actually be out in Colorado. So if you guys are there as Mets fans, if you live in Colorado, I don't know what percentage of our listeners live in Colorado. Probably very few.
Or if you're just going out there with the 7 line.
Yeah, or if you're going out there with the 7 line, go have some fun. I've heard Coors Field is a beautiful stadium. It's an awesome place to watch a game.
Great area, too. There's like a whole strip of bars and breweries right next to Coors Field. It's a great place to hang out.
Yes, if I was a little bit less busy, I would have loved to go to Colorado and hung out at Coors.
I'm also happy that we didn't commit to it because the weather is going to be horrific in Colorado this weekend.
Yeah, was it? It's 80-ish, right, today?
On Thursday, yeah.
And tomorrow, when the series is supposed to start...
Blizzard. Skiing weather.
How did they not put a roof on that stadium?
I don't know, man.
That's like criminal.
Dick Montfort's not really one to spend.
Stupid organization.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, really? He just promoted his son to be the president of development and player operations or whatever.
Bad organization. That being said, they're not playing particularly bad baseball this year. I mean, they can hit a little bit. They can swing it.
Especially not at home. The Rockies play well at home.
Well at home. And, of course, we don't have the greatest pitching right now. Our pitching is a little bit weaker. And, of course, in Colorado, runs get scored like crazy. But
I almost think that's better.
Yeah.
For a series you're going into where like, oh, the Mets don't have any pitching right now. It's like, let's just go to Colorado and try to score 10 runs. First to 10 wins.
Definitely. We'll be getting Marte back too, who's on bereavement leave. So he'll be back for the series as well, which is nice because he was scalding hot in the month of May. What are the pitching breakdowns? I think there's going to be a lot of TBDs, I feel like, in this one.
Not really. Actually, everything is set on both sides. Friday night, if the game goes off, I'm assuming it's not going to because the weather for Friday night's especially bad. It's supposed to just be cold on Saturday and Sunday, but still not be as bad. But Carlos Carrasco versus German Marquez, who always kills the Mets.
Yes.
That guy loves Mets jerseys. He just loves facing the Mets.
I'd love to trade for German Marquez.
Someone brought actually this up on Twitter the other night when talking about German Marquez, John Gray, all these guys. Do you ever remember a pitcher who actually left the Rockies and actually got good?
No.
Right? It's just something we say, but it actually doesn't really happen.
Well, maybe it just messes you up so badly.
Yeah, you can't come back.
That, like, you haven't thrown a curveball in 7 years.
And you're also dealing with an organization who uses pencil and pen and pencil and paper.
Like, there's no player development on the pitching side. It's a marvel that
German Marquez... I think there is some pitching development, but it's not any pitching development that can be applied to anything else because you're learning how to pitch in Coors Field, which is like kind of an impossible feat, and you don't even know how to do it that well. So it's almost like not even worth it. So... I don't know, it's weird. These guys, like John Gray left, and he's still just like me. He's still exactly the same guy, basically.
In a way more pitcher-friendly ballpark, too.
And he learned an incredibly effective new pitch.
Yeah.
But like everything else is still so bad that they're like, we got something at least.
Yeah, German Marquez, he owns us. Hopefully he
crushes
stinks.
us.
Hopefully he stinks.
Hopefully he doesn't like the snow. But then Saturday is going to be David Peterson versus Austin Gomber. And kind of Spider-Man meme-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. They're both just like kind of gangly-ish lefties
Large.
Who kind of don't
Gomber's
really...
lefty?
Yeah, Gomber's lefty. Right. Who don't really have like the greatest stuff. I think Gomber's like decent.
He was also a high draft pick, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I think he's like everything's okay with Gomber, right? I don't think he has anything great.
I think he's a good curve, if I remember correctly. He's good off-speed pitches, but that kind of gets nullified in Coors Field.
Doesn't matter out
there. Good thing they traded for him.
For trading Nolan Arenado for him.
And they gave him money. Ridiculous.
$50 million, my God.
And then Sunday, in a matchup of a game that's going to have a lot of balls in play. I hope I jinx that. Taijuan Walker versus Chad Kuhl.
Yeah, Chad Kuhl's got he's good slider, I think. Good slider. Hittable. He's been pitching for the Pirates and the Rockies basically his entire career. That should tell you a lot about Chad Kuhl.
Exactly. And then after this series, we're heading to San Francisco against a team that we beat that is very good. So we got to take 2 of these Rockies games. Just score 10 a game. Yeah. Score 10 a game.
Which is really possible.
Yeah.
Really, really possible.
The way we put the bat in the ball this year?
For sure. Especially with how much we get on base. Ball's going to hopefully fly a little bit more, although it's going to be cold. And as we've seen, the balls definitely fly more in hot weather.
But light air.
Light air.
Light air in Colorado.
Light air. That might help us out. Hopefully we get some runs. Hopefully we get some wins. I feel good. I feel all right.
I feel fine. I want to see it first. But the Mets also, the snowstorm coming, they could use an off day.
Could use one. But a doubleheader also kills us.
Of course, yeah, it does. And we also we're not going to have an off day. We're in San Francisco on Monday.
How's that work?
Colorado, San Francisco, it's not that crazy.
I guess not
We're playing
that
a day
bad.
game on Sunday. And we're traveling because we're going all the way back east after Wednesday, home against the Phillies next weekend. We got an off day for that travel.
Okay, gotcha. We're looking far ahead here now. We're looking far ahead.
We got to take these 6 weeks as kind of like its own entity right now.
This is like almost a playoff race these next 6 weeks right here.
You got to just be 500 hit over 6 weeks, then we'll be set.
Yeah, be nice. Hopefully we can get through this. Got the Rocky series coming up. If you were there with the 7 line, go say what's up to everybody. Have a beer. Enjoy yourself.
Great beer in Colorado.
Of course, it's a great bear.
Also, all the other beers out there. Odell's Brewing is really good. That's the only one I remember actually right
Yeah,
now.
I'm a Coors man. So
yeah,
if I'm
I
at
know.
Coors Field, I'm drinking Coors. Coors, sponsor us.
You think it's cheap out there? Because like this is their field. Like how much you got to charge them for the beer?
$1.
$1 beer.
$1 if you drink Coors.
Dude, $1 beers and the game style of Coors Field, that'd be chaos.
Wow,
4-hour games out there.
What a mistake they made making the mountains blue on their cans.
There should be purple.
Their field is for the Rockies in purple.
Oh my god.
What a mistake. All right. Well,
I don't think Coors even cares about the Rockies.
Oh, definitely don't.
The mountains, yes. The team, no.
Yeah, absolutely not. Man, we've sidetracked a bit. I think this is a good place to wrap up the episode.
Chaos
here.
episode.
Episode number 93 of the Mets'd Podcast. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Follow us on all our social media at Mets'd YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch the video version of this. If you're listening to us, make sure you're following, subscribing, downloading all the episodes so you don't miss out on the content coming at you. Follow James on Twitter at Jeter Had No Range. Follow me at Giraffe Neck Mark. I think James might have a Twitter name change coming soon
Yeah,
here.
possibly, yeah. But it might be the end of Jeter Had No Range, so I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Which is also a little bit of a hint of what could be coming. But
Yeah. Also, I mean, hey, Jeter Had No Range. We're actually about at the 3-year anniversary of Jeter Had No Range because it was, I've said this before, maybe not on this show, but on other podcasts I've done. Originally, when I made my baseball Twitter was Free Pete Alonso because that's when we were hoping for Pete Alonso to actually make the Major League team in 2019. He did make the team. I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense anymore. So I stole one of my friend's team names in Dynasty Baseball League I'm in. It's Jeter Couldn't Field. Didn't fit in the character counts. It made Jeter Had No Range. And it got me enough laughs over the last 3 years to help me out in a way that I expected.
yeah, if someone wants to buy the Jeter Had No Range ad, James will sell it.
Yeah, please let me know. I'll take the highest offer. Also, if you guys have any ideas for @names for me, send them back to me.
Yes, but that's good. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Mets'd Podcast. Peace out.
Peace out. See you guys next time.